what you want, what you need. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's session of the Global Trends course. I'm Nagasa from Sanyii Academy. Today, in this lesson, I'm going to cover actors in the international relation. If you are new for this channel, please start by subscribing and liking. If you are already familiar to this academy, I also ask you to like, comment, and share this video. Having said this, I directly go to the lesson. As I mentioned, the today's lesson is actors in the international relations. You can also follow this academy, this YouTube channel through these social media links. Today's lesson, as I just tried to mention earlier, I'm going to talk on actors in the international relations. The international relation is nothing without actors who play a role in modification of international system and carrying out activities that are important for the survival of the system. How many actors are there in the international relations? Basically, there are two actors. The first actor is state actor, and the second actor is non-state actor. Let us see these two actors one after the other. International relation is the subfield of international politics. This subfield of international politics deals with the interaction between states and non-state actors, which are already modifying the international system. Traditionally, international relation focus on the interaction between the states. Before the emergence of non-state actors, international relation was considered as the only task of the state. It focused on the interaction between the states. So this conventional view has been broadened over the years to include the relationship between all sorts of political entities, such as international governmental organizations, multinational corporations, societies, and citizens became actors in the international relation, which was supposed to be the only function of the state. As the time passes, gradually this conception, this understanding, which says state is the only actor in international relation, became weak and started to include non-state actors such as this. International politics gradually changed and come to include other actors which plays an outstanding role. International governmental organizations such as United Nations, World Bank, IMF, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, International Food Organization, International Labor Organization, and so many of them started to evolve in international relations. This international relation captures a vast range of themes, issues such as security, dialogue and conflict between various beliefs and ideologies, the environment, space, the global economy, poverty, and climate change. These issues are not the only, but they are major and important issues that states are required to act together mutually so as to improve their interaction at global stage. A wide range of issues are included in this international relation, and states are responsible to maintain their mutual cooperation to make their national interest achieved. This international relation was no more the only arena in which states primarily focus and played a significant role. International relations started to include non-state actors, which are also playing an important role today in contemporary politics. These states are in number gradually increasing from time to time. According to the latest count, there are no fewer than 195 countries. This number of countries have also achieved international personality. International relation is going on between these all states and non-state actors. States are in their nature very different from each other in terms of their politics, people, culture, and so on. They are similar to each other because all states are located somewhere. Geographic location is common character. They have territorial extension. They are also surrounded by borders. That means the border that tells us where one state ends and the other begins. This is the common characteristics that we see between states. No state exists in the vacuum. Every one of them are in the wallet having characteristics that we have mentioned here. All states have their own capitals, armies, foreign ministries, flags, and national anthems. There is no state without this. There is no state without capital, without army, without foreign ministry, flags, national anthems, parliament, slogans, and national interest. All states, therefore, consider themselves as sovereign. In the previous lesson, I talked about sovereignty, which was born at Westphalian Treaty of 1648, that states are independent of any external intervention and control, that they are determinant and the designer of their own destiny in the international political system. All states can call themselves sovereign. What that sovereign mean? Sovereignty means the exclusive right to govern their respective territories. No other external body is allowed to intervene in the sovereignty of each and every state. So every one of them have equal right regardless of their size and population. They are also sovereign in relation to each other. Whatever their economic status, political status, army status is, they are equal. So in terms of relationship. When we say states call themselves sovereign, we are saying that they act in relation to other states, declaring war, concluding peace, negotiating treaty, and many other things. When a state is sovereign, state has the right to decide what sort of relationship approach should it take with other state. The state has the sovereign right to declare war. The state has the sovereign right to conclude a peace, negotiating a treaty, and many other issues that the state want to maintain in that relationship. States are sovereign. International politics is, therefore, defined in terms of interaction between states in an international system of states. This international relation exists in the international politics, which is the main force and the main issue in the international system. This grand system is the collection and combination of state systems. It is that created by state units. 195 of them, approximately, came together for their own collective purpose and created the international system. Power is manifested in this system. Interactions are undertaken in this system. Trade and market also operate in this system. So it is a system of the state. These sovereign entities that are territorially bound and independent have their own authority to decide what sort of benefit, what sort of interest they pursue in this grand international system. They have the right to decide to accept what sort of international obligation they have to carry out. Each and every movement, every activity that the state make in this international system depends on the national interests of the country. We will see in chapter too about this national interest. The international is structurally differentiated from domestic in that the former is defined as anarchical and the latter is hierarchical. What does this mean? When we say international, this indicates the interaction between nations, international. This is a relationship that is carried out or undertaken between two or more nations. It is the combination of nations' interaction. It is differentiated from domestic politics because international politics and international relation is carried out in the world which is anarchic in nature. What does anarchy mean? Anarchy is a situation in which there is no central power that gives order, that make laws, that governs the state. There is no power that has authority over a state to dictate them to take any action that is important to preserve the international order. Rather, states came together for their own national interests. That is why we see states are making agreements, states are accepting international obligations and pursuing their international rights. International structure is anarchic. It does not have central authority that make laws, that implement laws, that interpret laws. States are taking part in this at their best interest. That is the reason. When we see the national or domestic politics, the domestic politics works in hierarchy. It operates in a hierarchy. The government of the country is the one that makes law, that implements law, and interprets the law. So no one is acting in this hierarchical system out of the control of the government. Government therefore give laws, assign politicians and authorities who have the capacity and a skill to implement what the government needs. States are sovereign. Sovereignty indicates how far states are strong enough to manage their internal affairs, unlike the international politics. State sovereignty comes to be the defining element in the study of international relations. Sovereignty is the ultimate authority of the state. State is ultimate authority holder in deciding domestic affairs and set standards for external interactions. If the interaction with certain country damage the national interest of the country, therefore the government is ready to decide to stop or to pursue that sort of interaction. Sovereignty matters a lot. In sovereignty, there are some elements that we have to take into account. These are territorial integrity. The territorial integrity of the country is a defining element for the state to take part in international relations and define the international personality of the state. State sovereignty comes to be the defining element in the study of international relations. Scholars pay much attention to this sovereignty. That is why we see politicians talking about their state sovereignty and focusing much on that territorial integrity. The second actors are non-state actors. Non-state actors are not state actors. They are international organizations, regional organizations, firms, and multinational corporations. The traditional view of international relation is no more acceptable because states were considered to be the only actor in the international relation. But as the time passes, this rhetoric remained obsolete and non-state actors were included in the international relations. We know our everyday lives is influenced by global firms, international governmental organizations, and NGOs. International organizations like United Nations, World Health Organization, World Bank, the National Monetary Fund, and others play a significant role in our daily lives. Every decision that is carried out by these and other organizations are affecting the daily life of every single person. Global firms, multinational corporations operate in different countries, basing themselves in one home country, are also influencing the life of everyone. NGOs are also influencing the life of each and every individual around the world. These are other actors in the international politics beside the states. In terms of capacity, the agency of state is as much as that of the United Nations or Amnesty International for each actors within a wider whole. The states are the determinant actors in the international system, but they are also not complete in their interaction. So we need the intervention and the interaction of these non-state actors to help us achieve more stable and important wallet. This is conceived in terms of, for example, international political economy or the international legal order, or indeed the anarchical international system. International political economy is the interaction between politics and economics at international level. So we cannot have economic development without political interaction or without political intervention. And we cannot have a stable political system without the interaction and intervention of economy. When we talk of this economic development and political progress, we need to consider the impact of these things at international level. Each and every actors, every state in the world are subject to this international political economy. No state is an island. Each and every one of them are interdependent because globalization has already facilitated this thing for them. This international political economy and international legal order have also come to impact the life of everyone in the state. Multinational corporations, often with the headquarters in one state and operational capability in a range of others, contribute significantly to the international relations. These multinational corporations basically base their head office in their home country, and establish their branches in different countries. For example, Toyota is a car producing company in Japan. This Toyota is a multinational corporation. It has several branches in different countries. So, in order to carry out their production and also extend their market, they have to involve in this interaction. They have to make agreements with the state, with countries. So, this is one of the international relations area in which multinational organizations are making linkage with countries to extend their production and control the market overseas. There are also other transnational, transgovernmental organizations where the relation between players are not controlled by the central foreign policy of the state. Transgovernmental organizations like EU, African Union, and the Organization of American States, Arab League, and so forth. These transgovernmental organizations are also main acting bodies, main actors in the international relations. African Union is playing a significant role in the relationship between states and also with international governmental organizations. These are no more controlled by the states' policies, no more controlled by the government, no more controlled by their foreign policies. These kind of trans-governmental organizations have their own foreign policy objectives, have their own guideline and operational structures. They are multi-dimensional and also ultranational organizations. These transnational or governmental organizations decide also exchange rate of the state currency being determined by money market. These are out of the control of the government. These ideas and debate demonstrate that although the term international relation has for centuries inferred a particular concern with relation between nations, it does not have to remain so confined to this state. We say traditionally the international relation is confined to the state definition, But as the time goes by and the international political system changes, this is no more working. It's no more the function of the state only. It also included non-state actors. Contrary to the narrow traditionalist view, or realist view of international relations, which emphasizes on physical security and the protection of territory of the state and its people, we need to look beyond that. The contemporary definition and contemporary view of international relation is more beyond the realistic conception. The physical security and protection of the territory of the state and its people was the main emphasis of international relation, according to realists. That one is important also, but is important to go beyond that because in the world where wide range of actors are influencing domestic and international politics, it is better to see beyond the realistic view or realist perspective of international relations. To gain more understanding and to gain more comprehension about this, it is better to raise this question. Are the relations between states governed by mutual cooperation and interdependence, or best conceived as a conflictual and subject to self-help system based on survival in an anarchical system? Which one is the best way of making interaction, by mutual cooperation and interdependence, or by conflictual and subject to self-help system? By the way, conflictual and subject to self-help system is a realist perspective and argument presented that since the international system is anarchic, the states have to try to help themselves in the system, not to be occupied by other states. The answer to this question depends on the following elements that we have to deeply look into. The first element is the assumption made in relation to the element's agent's structure and comfort primacy. In these issues are important to decide which one is best, mutual cooperation or self-help system. The second is how we acquire knowledge about this cooperation and self-help system. If you are influenced by a realist perspective, then your standing point might be a realist perspective. If you are influenced by a liberalist perspective, even still your standing point, your position might be liberalistic. So, how we acquire those knowledge determines to decide which one is best. The argument we present in justifying our claims to knowledge, the argument, the reasons, evidence we present to prove our position also determines which one is the best approach. Much controversy on the discipline of international relations related to these assumptions and how they impact on explaining and understanding global politics and economics, such as war, identity and affiliation, the workings of international political economy, the causes of inequality and poverty, the potentials of regulating behavior in relation to climate change, and so on. The above mentioned assumptions influence to explain the best approach to take in the international relation and understand the global politics. Elements, actions, phenomena such as war, identity formation, and affiliation creation, the workings of international political economy, the way it works and how it works, the causes of inequality and poverty, what causes inequality between developing and developing countries? Is it the policies designed by developing nations or the work culture of developing countries? And what brought poverty? Is it because of developing nations are not working and having no culture of hard work, or the colonialism sabotage that was taken by Europeans that brought poverty? And who take responsibility to reverse the situation? What are the potentials regulating behaviors of the state in relation to climate change? What potential that the international organizations have to regulate issues like climate change, terrorism, drug trafficking, and pandemics like coronavirus. The traditional conception that see the state as the main basis of political interaction and the main point of reference for both society and the individual within it has lost a lot of its meaning and importance. State is no more the only actor in the international politics and international relations. I'm not saying state is not the actor in the international system. I'm saying state is no more the only actor in the international politics and international relations. That means non-state actors have come to challenge the dominance of the state in this international political system. In diplomacy, there are three theoretical frameworks. The first one is traditional diplomatic theory, which focuses on the state as the only actor in diplomacy, and the state is the creator and the mover of diplomacy, according to that theory. The second one is nascent diplomatic theory. This nascent diplomatic theory has a premises that state is not the sole actor in diplomacy, rather non-state actors are also important to improve diplomacy and challenge the dominance of the state in diplomacy. So they neglect the role of the state. And the third one is innovative diplomatic theory, which says state and non-state actors both are important in diplomacy, but they have to reduce the polarization, extreme focus on the state as well as extreme focus on non-state actors. In this way, international diplomacy can change from time to time and bring the desired outcome as far as they work together. So, in this international relation, state is no more the only actor, the only mover and shaker in international relations. The significance of the state in this area has decreased. If we look at the world around us, the state borders do not seem to accurately delimitate global affairs. Global issues are no more limited and delimited by state borders. Those issues are intervening in national territory and politics. They are impacting the majority of global interactions, be the global finance, production, education, personal and professional travel, labor migration, or terrorism, no longer occur via the state channels the way they once did. So they are not limited to national borders. They have become international. They go beyond the control of the state. We could say that the increased focus on non-state actors and across-border issues has marked a close to revolutionary turn in international relations. Focusing on non-state actors has changed the international relation and international politics landscape, that states are no more the dominant actor in the international politics and international relations. That means it was a turning point for the intervention of non-state actors. This could be interpreted as a shift away from the international between states to the transnational across or beyond the state and their borders. This changed international relation from international to transnational. That means the scope of this relationship is extended and more actors included in this international relation. Robert Cohn, in his writing of 2016, he is one of the scholars in the field, stated that international relations is no longer a suitable level and that we should instead refer to the discipline as global studies or world politics. Because of the continuous and gradual increase of this discipline and significance of the discipline, we have to change the name of this international relation to global studies or world politics, he said. This has something with the impact and the role of actors in the international relations. Nowadays, few societal and political issues challenges and problems are narrowly confined by the border of individual states or even group of states, except some very few issues, problems, and challenges that are confined within the border of the country. The rest are of international concern. The impact of the rest issues are international concern. Before 2001, terrorism was not a global threat. It was happening in some other countries, and it was considered to be the issue of a single country or group of countries. But after the attack on the United States of America on September 11, 2001, terrorism was no more a national issue. It became the international issue. It was the threat. It was a threat to the international peace and stability. So thinking about world affairs in a transnational rather than in purely international terms, therefore, seems more of an analytical necessity than just a choice. We have to consider as transnational issues should be seen from transnational perspective, beyond the border perspective. Individuals and groups interact across borders and thus relativize the meaning of space and territory as conventional international relations knew it. The national commercial aviations and the rapid spread of information technologies has further increased the population mobility and the rate at which interactions occurs across and beyond the state border. The compression of time and space due to the advancement of technology and space aviation has simplified the movement of goods and services and people from place to place. As far as the world is globalized and the interaction between people is very close, this much, it is not limited to domestic politics to decide about the interaction between the states. Non-state actors are sorting determinant. And all issues cannot be covered by the states. So we need the role of non-state actors here to address those problems and issues we encounter in daily life. So the ability of common people to store, transfer, and distribute large amount of information, the possibility of data to travel across the world in virtually no time, and the increasing availability of high-speed internet have not only changed the lives of at personal and community levels, but also dramatically altered the general dynamics in politics and global affairs. The movement, the diffusion of information within a microsecond due to internet and information technologies have made states lose control over these issues. States are no more capable to control, and these services are no more provided by the state. Firms and organizations, private organizations, have started to dominate the role of the state. States are no more capable to control the flow of information from one place to another. This compression of time and space and accessibility to information technologies help individuals to have more knowledge about the international political system in international relations. Social media provided accessible platforms of communication that allow for the projection and the promotion of ideas across borders at no cost to the individual or group generating and advocating. Using social media, you send every information, every idea you need. You share whatever you feel, you're feeling, your interests, and your view. These have decreased the challenges that people were facing. So state no more control those things. Facebook, for example, YouTube, and other social media platforms have made everything easy. The flow of information easy. Various political agendas, be progressive, revolutionary, or outright dangerous, can unfold in relatively uncontrolled and unregulated way. Political agendas can show up in an unregulated way. Terrorists are using social media, even the government is not capable to control that. The national communities are not capable to control. They are using military weapons that are even produced by great nations. These have created opportunity for them to unfold themselves. This posing real challenges to governmental agencies and political leaders that try to improve and direct them. So this is the main reason that we see governments are challenged, and riots, chaos, and protests are going everywhere. Random individuals can potentially start a revolution from their homes. An ordinary person can start a revolution, can cause a riot, a protest. Recently, in Iran, one woman was killed by a morality police. And due to that, youngsters started to protest against the government, and now Iran as a nation is shaking. The government is not capable to control. And many activities like this are happening around the world in every nation. So a given person, an ordinary person, can cause a revolution, a protest, uh, from their home by passing conventional conception of power and transcending spatial and material boundaries to the point where political activity and even confrontation become weightless and immaterial altogether. IR and use this is why non-state actors are playing a significant role in international relations, and international relation is just starting to expand from its traditionalist view, realistic view, to the more vast and inclusive uh, aspect. Today, we have seen about actors in international relations, the state actors and the non state actors. State actors are those states having sovereign power to take part in international politics and involve in international system. And non state actors are those actors such as international governmental organizations, multinational corporations, civil societies, NGOs, and peoples. This has modified the scope of international relation and also structure of international relation from the traditionalist view, which says state is the only dominant actor in international relation, to the more wider and inclusive type of international relation in which non-state actors are also required to involve. I just need to remind you again to subscribe, like, share, and comment on this academy and help me improve whatever I just post on this. Thank you very much.